all science is either physics or stamp collecting. If your experiment needs statistics, you ought to have done a better experiment. We're like children who always want to take apart watches to see how they work. The only possible conclusion the social sciences can draw is, some do, some don't. We didn't have the money, so we had to think. An alleged scientific discovery has no merit unless it can be explained to a barmaid. In science, there is only physics. All the rest is stamp collecting. The energy produced by the breaking down of the atom is a very poor kind of thing. It was quite the most incredible event that has ever happened to me in my life. It was almost as if a pistol had been fired at a piece of tissue paper. The more physics you understand, the less complicated things become. Don't let me catch anyone talking about the universe in my department. I have broken the machine and touched the ghost of matter. We're always chasing shadows. The more we know, the more we realize how little we understand. To solve any problem in physics, you must first reduce it to a simpler form. When we have found how the nucleus of atoms is built up, we shall have found the greatest secret of all, except life. The true reward of science is the joy of discovery, the thrill of uncovering nature's secrets. I came into the world with nothing, and I've still got most of it left. An experiment is only a failure if it doesn't teach you something. A theory that you can't explain to an ordinary person is probably not worth much. Success is not the result of chance. It is the result of careful thought, hard work, and a love for what you do. You should never bet against physics. It always wins in the end. The scientist's greatest tool is curiosity. It drives every discovery. It's the first time I've seen anything so big in a space so small. We are not interested in theories that do not lead to results. That which is not measurable is not science. In science, we have to learn to fail intelligently. We must fail to succeed. All great science starts with a question no one thought to ask before. A good scientist is a person with original ideas. A great scientist is a person who can explain those ideas to anyone. An atom is mostly empty space, and so is a scientist's bank account. Physics is the only real science. The rest are just stamp collecting. The beauty of science is that it's always open to challenge and change. In science, if you can't experiment on it, you're just speculating. We have no money, so we must think. Thinking is always free. To be a scientist, you must have a passion for truth and a willingness to question everything. In experimental physics, failure is often the most direct route to success. The more we learn about nature, the more we stand in awe of its simplicity and elegance. A scientist who cannot explain their work to a child has not fully understood it. If your theory doesn't match the experiment, it's time to change your theory. I always like to keep a bottle of champagne in the lab for when we make a great discovery or when we fail spectacularly. When we see something unexpected in the laboratory, that's when science really begins. We're explorers of the invisible world, trying to make it visible one experiment at a time. The progress of science is built on making mistakes and learning from them. Science is not about being right all the time. It's about asking better questions and learning through trial and error. The universe doesn't care about our opinions. It only responds to evidence. Experimentation is the heart of discovery. Without it, science is just storytelling. If you don't take risks in science, you won't discover anything new. Great discoveries don't happen overnight. They happen when you refuse to give up. Nature is always more complicated than we think. The challenge is finding its simplicity. The best experiments surprise you. They show you something you never imagined. A theory without an experiment is like a ship without a compass, directionless and adrift. In science, hard work and curiosity are far more valuable than luck. There is no shortcut to understanding nature. You must experiment, observe, and question everything. Discovery favors the prepared mind and the persistent hands of the experimenter. Every scientific breakthrough begins with a single question. Why? The atoms we study may be invisible to the eye, but their behavior shapes the entire universe. Innovation comes from seeing what everyone else sees, but thinking differently about it. No great scientific endeavor was ever accomplished without patience, precision, and passion. Failure is not a setback in science. It is a signpost on the road to success. To truly understand the world, we must always challenge assumptions and embrace uncertainty. To truly understand the world, we must always challenge assumptions and embrace uncertainty. The greatest discoveries come from asking questions no one else thought to ask. In science, what we don't know is far more exciting than what we do. A good experiment doesn't just confirm what we know, it challenges what we think we know. The atom is small, but its potential is infinite. So too is the power of human curiosity. The measure of a scientist lies not in their success, but in their persistence to understand the truth. A truly great scientist embraces failure as the fuel for discovery. Nature speaks in the language of experiments, and it's our job to listen carefully. A laboratory without curiosity is like a ship without a sail, directionless and stagnant. Breakthroughs don't happen by accident. They happen because someone dared to look closer. The reward of science is not in the answers, but in the pursuit of better questions. You must always be ready for surprises. In the lab, the unexpected is where discovery begins. The mind is the greatest instrument of a scientist, but the experiment is its ultimate test. Precision, patience, and persistence. These are the pillars of scientific success. True understanding comes from testing, observing, and then testing again. Every time we break down nature into smaller pieces, we find something new and unexpected.